Your cat just knocked your coffee mug off the table, looked you dead in the eyes, and did it again. But then, 20 minutes later, they crawled into your lap, pressed their forehead against yours, and started purring like a tiny motor engine. Was that an apology? Here's what's going to blow your mind today. Scientists now believe cats are far more emotionally aware than we ever gave them credit for, and the way they apologize is so subtle, so deeply wired into their biology that most cat owners miss it entirely. I'm not talking about your cat feeling guilty the way a golden retriever does with those puppy eyes. I'm talking about something far more sophisticated. Something rooted in millions of years of evolution, social bonding, and a communication system that cats developed specifically to talk to humans. Okay, before we talk about how cats apologize, we need to answer a more fundamental question first, and it's the question that divides casual cat owners from people who truly understand feline psychology. Do cats actually feel emotions like guilt, remorse, or regret? For a long time, the scientific community said no. Cats were classified as solitary, asocial animals, efficient little predators who tolerated humans for food and warmth, but didn't really care about our emotional states. Then, researchers started paying closer attention, and what they found changed everything. Study number 1. The Morrissey and Custance Study on Secondary Emotions in Cats, University of London, 2013. The first major piece of research I want to walk you through comes from Dr. Deborah Custance and Jennifer Meyer at the University of London. Their 2013 study, published in the journal Animal Cognition, was originally designed to test whether cats respond to human emotional distress. What they did was surprisingly simple. They had cat owners and strangers alternate between pretending to cry, making genuine sobbing sounds, and humming neutrally. Then they observed how the cats responded. Now, here's what the skeptics expected. Cats would respond equally to both, or ignore both, because cats famously don't care. Here's what actually happened. The cats, regardless of whether it was their owner or a complete stranger, overwhelmingly moved toward the person who was crying. They approached them, made physical contact, and displayed behaviors like rubbing, purring, and slow blinking far more frequently during the crying condition than during the humming condition. The researchers concluded that cats aren't just responding to sound, they're reading emotional context. They're distinguishing between distress and neutral states, and choosing to respond to distress with comfort-oriented behavior. Why does this matter for our topic today? Because if a cat can recognize that you are in emotional distress and respond with comforting behavior, that means they're also capable of recognizing when they have caused disruption to the emotional harmony between you. That's the first building block of what we might call an apology. Think about that for a second. Your cat isn't just a little food-motivated robot. They are reading your emotional state in real time and adjusting their behavior accordingly. Study number 2, John Bradshaw's research on cat social behavior, University of Bristol, Anthrozoology Institute. The second researcher I want to introduce you to is Dr. John Bradshaw, and if you're serious about understanding cat psychology, remember that name. He's the founder of the Anthrozoology Institute at the University of Bristol, and he's spent over 30 years studying the social lives of domestic cats. His landmark work, which fed into his best-selling book, Cat Sense, fundamentally challenged the idea that cats are social animals. Here's what Bradshaw's research revealed. Domestic cats didn't just adapt to living with humans. They evolved a unique social communication system specifically for humans. In the wild, adult cats are largely silent with each other. They communicate through scent, body posture, and visual signals. But meowing? Adult cats almost never meow at other cats in the wild. That behavior, the meowing, the trilling, the chirping, was developed and refined over thousands of years of domestication specifically as a language to communicate with people. Bradshaw also found that cats who live in stable, bonded relationships with humans exhibit what he called affiliative behaviors. After conflict or stress, behaviors designed to restore social harmony. These include slow blinking, approaching, and rubbing, presenting their flank, and something called allo-rubbing, which we'll get into in detail in a few minutes. Why does this matter? Because it tells us that cats don't just accidentally engage in comforting behavior after an incident. They have an evolved toolkit of reconciliation behaviors, a behavioral vocabulary designed to repair relationships. Sound familiar? That's the architecture of an apology. Study number 3, the Vitale-Shreve Study on Cat-Human Attachment, Oregon State University, 2019. Now, I want to share a study that genuinely surprised the scientific community, and honestly, it surprised a lot of cat owners too, because it contradicted something we'd been told for decades. In 2019, Kristen Vitale and her team at Oregon State University conducted an attachment study modeled on the famous strange situation test, the SAME test used to measure attachment in human infants and dogs. Here's how it worked. Cats were placed in an unfamiliar room with their owner for 2 minutes. Then the owner left for 2 minutes. Then the owner returned. The researchers were measuring how the cats responded to the reunion, specifically looking for signs of what psychologists call secure attachment versus insecure attachment. The results were stunning. 65% of the cats showed secure attachment behaviors toward their owners, the same percentage seen in human infants and dogs. When their owner returned, securely attached cats briefly acknowledged them, showed reduced stress, and then began confidently exploring the room again, using the owner as a safe base. The insecurely attached cats either became clingy and anxious or avoided the owner entirely upon return. Here's why this is critical to understanding feline apologies. Secure attachment means your cat has an emotional investment in maintaining the bond with you. They're not indifferent to conflict. They feel the rupture when something goes wrong between you, when they've scared you, hurt you, or disrupted the peace. And securely attached cats are strongly motivated to repair that rupture. That motivation to repair? That's the psychological engine behind feline apology behavior. So when your cat knocks something over, sees your reaction, and then comes to sit near you with a slightly hunched posture and slow blinks, they're not confused. They're not just hungry. They are, in their own deeply feline way, attempting to restore the bond. Okay, so now you know the science. Cats feel emotions. They track your emotional state. They have evolved reconciliation behaviors, and they are genuinely attached to you. But what does a cat apology actually look like in real life? This is where it gets incredibly practical, because once I describe these behaviors, you're going to think back to moments with your cat and say, oh my gosh, that's exactly what they did. Behavior number 1, the slow blink approach. Let's start with the most well-known signal in cat communication, the slow blink. You've probably seen videos of people slow blinking at cats and the cats slow blinking back. It's often called a cat kiss on social media. But here's what most people don't know about the slow blink in the context of reconciliation. After a conflict, after your cat has done something that upset you, after you've raised your voice, after a stressful incident, watch for this. Your cat will often position themselves at a non-threatening distance, not close enough to be in your space, maybe across the room or at the foot of the couch. And from that safe distance, they will make eye contact with you and then slowly, deliberately close and open their eyes. In normal cat-to-cat communication, direct eye contact is a threat. Cats stare each other down before a fight. So when a cat makes eye contact with you and then deliberately breaks that eye contact through a slow blink, they are communicating, I am not challenging you. I am not a threat. I want peace between us. Following a conflict, this is one of the clearest apology signals in the feline behavioral repertoire. Have you ever had a moment where you were upset with your cat? Maybe you caught them scratching the furniture and you scolded them, and then a few minutes later, they just sat nearby and kept catching your eye and blinking slowly? That was your cat saying, "Hey, we're okay, right? I want us to be okay." Behavior number 2, the slow approach and flank rub. Here's another one that's so easy to misread. After an incident, after they've bitten too hard during play, after they've knocked over your water glass, after they startled you by jumping out from behind the couch, many cats will do something very specific. They'll wait, they'll give you space, and then when the emotional temperature in the room has dropped slightly, they'll walk toward you, but not directly. They'll approach at an angle. And when they reach you, they'll rub the side of their face, their flank, or the base of their tail against your leg. This is called allurabing, a behavior that in multi-cat households is used to maintain social bonds and reaffirm group identity. When cats do this with each other after a conflict, it's a direct reconciliation behavior. The biological reason this works is scent-based. Cats have scent glands along their cheeks, flanks, and the base of their tail. When they rub against you, they are depositing their scent on you and mixing their scent with yours. In cat psychology, this is an act of profound intimacy. It's saying, we belong to the same group. We share a bond. I am reaffirming that bond right now. The fact that they do this after a conflict is not a coincidence. It's intentional. It's reconciliatory. I want you to think about this with your own cat. Does your cat rub against you more after a stressful moment? After a vet visit? After you've been away? After a disagreement? Many cat owners noticed this pattern but never quite had the language to describe what was happening. Now you do. Real-world story, Luna and the water glass. I want to share a scenario that I think will feel very familiar to a lot of you. Imagine you're working from home. Deadline coming up. You've got your coffee, your water glass, your notes spread across the desk, everything exactly where you need it. Your cat, Luna, has been hovering nearby for 20 minutes, clearly wanting attention. You've been too focused to respond, and then, crash. Luna hooks her paw around your water glass and sends it directly onto your keyboard. You react, sharp voice, scraping back your chair, grabbing towels. Luna bolts. She's under the bed before you've even finished swearing. 20 minutes pass. You've cleaned up, you've calmed down, and you're back at your desk. And then, out of the corner of your eye, you notice Luna has come back into the room. She's sitting near the doorway, not coming over, not demanding anything, just present. You look at her, she looks at you, and she blinks, slowly, deliberately, and looks away. 5 minutes later, she moves closer. She sits at your feet, still not demanding contact, not meowing, just sitting in that compact little loaf position with her eyes periodically drifting up to your face. And eventually, she stands, walks to your knee, and presses the top of her head gently against your hand. Luna doesn't feel guilt the way you or I process guilt. She isn't replaying the incident in her mind with a narrative of, I shouldn't have done that. But she is doing something equally real and equally meaningful. She is reading that the emotional connection between you was disrupted. She is feeling the discomfort of that disruption. And she is using every social tool she has to restore what was broken. The water glass was about attention-seeking, a whole other fascinating topic. But the aftermath? The sequence of behaviors that followed? That was an apology. And Luna meant every quiet, dignified, feline syllable of it. Here's the takeaway from everything we've explored today. Cats don't apologize the way humans do. They apologize the way cats do. And that distinction matters enormously. When you understand that a slow blink is a peace offering, that a flank rub is a reaffirmation of your bond, that a quiet presence near you after conflict is your cat choosing connection over retreat, you stop missing the apology entirely. You stop thinking your cat is indifferent or manipulative or emotionally simple. And when you respond to those gestures, when you slow blink back, when you offer your hand gently, when you acknowledge the reconciliation your cat is reaching toward, you complete the circuit. You tell them, in their own language, "I received your apology. We're okay. Our bond is intact." Now I want to hear from you. Think about your cat. Think about the last time things got tense. Maybe they scratched you, knocked something over, or just did something that made you react strongly. What did they do afterward? Did they disappear for a while and then quietly reappear nearby? Did they slow blink at you from across the room? Did they come and press their head against you out of nowhere? Drop it in the comments below. Describe exactly what your cat did. And now that you have this new framework, tell me, do you think it was an apology? I read every single comment on this channel, and I genuinely love hearing your stories because honestly, your cats are teaching us as much as science does. And if this video helped you understand your cat even a little bit better, if you're going to go home tonight and look at your cat slightly differently, please hit that subscribe button. Because every week on this channel, we go deep into the psychology of cats. Not surface-level tips, not listicles, real behavioral science, explained in a way that actually changes how you see your cat.